Have you ever felt completely drained after a day where you barely moved a muscle? Like your body isn't tired from action, but your soul feels depleted? You check your schedule, nothing major? No intense workouts, no long meetings, no crisis. Just a quiet day, maybe even restful on the surface. Yet there's this deep exhaustion that doesn't make logical sense. It's not physical, it's vibrational. You're not imagining it. What you're experiencing is frequency fatigued, and it's a symptom of an unseen war your nervous system is fighting. Not against tasks, but against dissonance. Every thought you repeat, every emotion you suppress, every misaligned version of reality you unconsciously tune into is costing you energy. Not metaphorically, literally, because your attention is currency in the quantum field, and most of us are leaking it all day long without realizing. You're not tired because you did too much. You're tired because you've been tuned into the wrong frequency. Imagine your consciousness like a radio tower broadcasting and receiving signals 24/7. When your frequency is aligned with coherence, joy, clarity, purpose, you expand. But when your signal is hijacked by anxiety, looping, self-doubt, or unresolved trauma, your field contracts. It burns energy just to maintain basic function. This isn't woo-woo. It's wave mechanics. Your nervous system isn't just reacting to what you do, it's responding to what you're being. And right now, most people are trying to heal, grow, rest, while their frequency is still entangled with noisy, emotional static. Subconscious tension, energetic contradictions. You're meditating but still looping old identity scripts. Resting, but still vibrating at guilt. You're doing nothing yet energetically, you're at war. That's the real reason you're tired. Because frequency is function. And your field is exhausted not from effort but from incoherence. In this video, we're going to expose the hidden architecture behind this fatigue and reveal how to tune your energy back into the frequency of regeneration. Not through hustle, not through hacks, but through alignment. And once you understand how energy flows in the quantum body, you'll never see exhaustion the same way again. Stay with me because what comes next may just give your soul the permission it's been silently begging for. Let's go deeper, because what if the real burnout isn't caused by what you do, but by what you carry that isn't yours? Think about it. You wake up in the morning, and before you even move, your body's already vibrating with inherited tension, worry about money, subconscious guilt, unprocessed heartbreak. It's not coming from today's reality, it's encoded from yesterday's. Residue. You've been trained to measure exhaustion by physical metrics. Steps walked, hours worked, boxes checked. But in the quantum realm, it's coherence, or the lack of it, that determines energetic cost. You might lie on the couch all day, and yet your field is in full crisis mode. Because inside, your nervous system is bracing for impact that never arrives. Emotionally, you're rehearsing failure. Mentally, you're downloading worst-case scenarios. Spiritually, you're disconnected from the signal of truth, and all of that takes fuel. Every loop of inner conflict burns current. Every suppressed emotion lowers field amplitude. Every unresolved belief fractures your wave pattern. And here's the real kicker. You don't even have to be aware of it for it to cost you. Your subconscious is emitting a frequency 24/7, and the field is responding accordingly, not to what you say, but to what you radiate. Most people live on autopilot in a vibrational mismatch. They crave peace, but their nervous system is tuned to survival. They desire rest, but their thoughts scream responsibility. They seek clarity, but are entangled in emotional fog. So the fatigue builds not because they're weak, not because they're lazy, but because they are energetically leaking life force just to maintain a version of reality that no longer aligns. This is frequency fatigue, and it's invisible. Until you finally pause and ask, who am I being when I'm not doing anything? What am I tuned to when the world gets quiet? There's a kind of exhaustion that doesn't show up on medical charts. No doctor can diagnose it, no blood test can prove it, but you feel it. It's in the way your chest tightens for no reason. It's in the fog that sits behind your eyes even after a full night's sleep. It's in the invisible weight you carry through rooms, conversations, mornings, And the worst part, no one else sees it? To the outside world, you look fine. You're functioning. You're surviving. Maybe you even smile. But inside, something feels off, like your soul is slowly dimming under layers of shoulds, expectations, and emotional static. You try supplements, meditation, detoxes. You scroll through videos hoping for a magic ritual, a quick fix. But deep down, you know this isn't just about your habits. It's not about your schedule. It's about your frequency. Because the truth is, you've been living in a vibration that no longer matches who you really are. You've been saying yes when your field says no. You've been staying in situations your energy already outgrew. You've been looping thoughts that were never yours to begin with fear-based scripts downloaded from childhood. Society past pain. And every day you stay tuned into that dissonance, your body pays the price. It's not just emotionally, energetically, cell by cell, breath by breath. Until one day, rest doesn't restore you. Sleep doesn't reset you. Nothing feels like enough because you're not fatigued from life. You're fatigued from a version of life that isn't aligned. That's the pain no one talks about, the quiet burnout of the soul. But what if that's not the end? What if this fatigue is actually a signal not of failure, but of readiness? What if the real solution isn't to push harder or escape further, but to shift deeper into a frequency that finally fits the truth of you? Here's what most people don't realize. Your body is not just flesh and bones. It's a living frequency device. Every cell pulses with electrical charge. Every organ system vibrates in measurable rhythms. And your nervous system is a finely tuned conductor translating internal signals into external actions. But here's the twist. Your energy isn't drained by effort alone. It's drained by incoherence. Neuroscience and quantum biology have shown us that when your thoughts, emotions, and environment are out of sync, your system enters a state of internal noise. Your heart beats in one rhythm, your brain waves pull in another, and your gut, the emotional compass of your body, fires warnings the mind refuses to hear. This fragmented frequency doesn't just make you tired, it depletes your field. It reduces the amplitude of your energetic signal, making you more vulnerable to external noise, mood swings, and a lack of resilience. The Heart Math Institute calls this loss of coherence energetic depletion. And it's not just theory, it's measurable. They found that the heart's electromagnetic field, when out of sync with emotional truth, becomes disordered, chaotic, unstable, and your body has to work overtime just to maintain basic functionality. So even when you sit still, your system is silently burning resources, trying to reconcile a frequency that doesn't fit. You're smiling on the outside, but your energy field is in conflict. You're saying, "I'm fine," but your cells are screaming for alignment. And this invisible war is what makes you tired without cause. But the good news is, coherence can be restored. Alignment is not a miracle, on a muscle. And the moment you begin tuning your frequency to match the truth of who you are, not who you pretend to be, the drain stops. Energy returns, regeneration begins. Not because you fixed something, but because you stopped broadcasting a lie. Most people think fatigue comes from doing too much. But in the quantum field, fatigue comes from being out of tune too often. You could sit on your couch all day and still be exhausted if your internal broadcast is chaotic. So how exactly do you leak energy without even noticing? It starts with micro-signals, the thoughts you repeat on autopilot, the silent self-judgments, the subconscious comparisons, the emotional rehearsals of worst-case scenarios. Each of these is not just a thought, it's a frequency request too. The field. When you worry, you pull your system into contraction. When you replay conflict, you fire neurons in a pattern that your nervous system mistakes as current danger. When you criticize yourself in the mirror, even if it's quiet, your body hears it as attack. And to defend itself, it tightens, it braces, it prepares. All of this happens without movement. But it costs you. The average person has 60,000 to 70,000 thoughts a day. And for most, 90% are repeats from yesterday. Which means, if yesterday's vibration was misaligned, you're looping it again today. This is not fatigue from effort, it's fatigue from repetition. Repeating vibrations that contract your field, collapse your expansion, and confuse your biology. And then we wonder, why am I so tired? The real question is, what frequency am I unconsciously tuned into and how long have I been broadcasting it? The most powerful shift begins not with action, but with attention. Start noticing the vibration underneath your thoughts. It fear, obligation, shame, or is it curiosity, truth, love? The frequency behind your focus determines the vitality within your system. And the moment you pause and interrupt the old signal, Evan, just by asking, is this mine? You begin the process of reclaiming your energy. Because here's the truth. Your fatigue is not a weakness. It's feedback. Your body is not failing. It's asking you to tune again. Here's the part no one teaches you. True restoration doesn't happen when you rest your body. It happens when you realign your field. Because your body can be still while your vibration is still frantic. You can be on vacation, lying on a beach, yet feel like your soul is running a marathon. That's because the quantum field doesn't respond to rest, it responds to resonance. And if your frequency is still echoing fear, guilt, or pressure, no amount of sleep will restore your system. So what does restoration really require? Quantum realignment. This isn't just a mindset shift, it's a vibrational recalibration. It means interrupting the frequency loop that's been draining you and replacing it with one that feeds your system. How do you do that? It starts with presence. When you sit in stillness and ask, what am I really feeling right now? Break the autopilot. That question alone disrupts the old code. The second step is permission. Most people feel tired, but they resist it. They judge themselves for not being productive, for not being on, for not having energy. That resistance amplifies the fatigue. But when you say, I honor this tiredness, I allow this recalibration, your body softens. Your field opens. Your nervous system finally feels safe to regenerate. And here's where the shift begins. Bring to mind a moment, not a fantasy, but a felt memory where you truly felt aligned, peaceful, at ease. It doesn't need to be big. Just real. Now breathe into that memory. Let your system feel it again, not think it, feel it. In that moment, your brain begins firing differently. Your heart starts emitting a coherent field. Your frequency changes, and the field listens. That is quantum realignment. And the more often you return to that frequency, not for escape, but for anchoring, the more your body remembers how to restore without effort. What if I told you that everything could shift in 3 minutes? Not because time heals all wounds, but because frequency heals faster than force. You don't need a full-day retreat. You don't need to disappear from your life. You need 3 sacred minutes where your nervous system gets to remember what safety feels like. Here's how it works. Set a timer. Close your eyes. Place one. Hand on your chest, one on your belly. Don't try to breathe deep. Just notice. Let your breath move you instead of you moving it. Now, ask your body, not your mind. What frequency am I holding right now? Not how do I feel, but what am I vibrating? You might sense tightness. You might hear old words. You might feel nothing. That's okay. Now bring to mind a version of you, not an ideal, but a grounded memory where you felt present, powerful, peaceful, not imagined, experienced. It could be a quiet walk, a laughter-filled night, a deep moment of stillness. Let that version of you become the observer. What do they see? What do they know that you've forgotten? Let them breathe for you. Let them hold the frequency. If you're not escaping into them, you're collapsing into alignment with them. Tuning to their signal. And in those 3 minutes, your brain waves begin to shift from survival to creativity. Your heart's rhythm stabilizes into coherence. And your electromagnetic field begins to repattern. That's not fantasy. That's neurobiology. That's quantum. This isn't meditation. It's recoding. And the more often you return to this simple practice, the less fatigue you carry, not because life got easier, but because your field stopped fighting your truth. The reset doesn't require effort. It requires willingness. You don't need to push through. You just need to tune in. There's a truth in quantum physics that sounds like science fiction, but it's been proven again and again. When 2 particles become entangled, they remain connected, no matter the distance. Alter one, and the other responds instantly. Not quickly. Instantly. Why does that matter to you? Because consciousness is not exempt from entanglement. And the version of you who is rested, radiant, rooted in truth, that version is not in the future. It's already entangled with you right now, not as fantasy, but as a live frequency already. Pulsing in the field, you don't have to earn your way into them. You don't have to climb a spiritual ladder. You simply have to tune into their state. The fatigue you feel now is not proof that you're far from that version. It's feedback that you've forgotten how to align. That's it. Goes energy. Never lies, and the quantum doesn't care about time, cares about coherence. The moment you begin observing life from the eyes of the version of you who already feels free, everything shifts. Their thoughts are clearer. Their breath is deeper. Their body moves with trust, not tension. And when you align to that signature, you collapse their timeline, not in theory and experience. This is why some days healing feels effortless like. You suddenly remember something your body always knew. It's not a coincidence. That's you re-entering resonance with the you that already exists. This is not a motivational idea. It's quantum architecture. The nervous system doesn't need proof. It needs permission. And the moment you say, that's me, not someday. Now, the entangled field begins to respond. Because it was never about becoming that version. It's about remembering you already are. So if your highest self is already entangled with why, does it still feel so far away? Why do you still feel stuck, disconnected, fatigued? Even after journaling, meditating, and doing the work? The answer is simple, but radical. The quantum field doesn't respond to what you hope for. It responds to what you broadcast. Most people are unconsciously broadcasting contradiction. You say I'm abundant while checking your bank account in panic. You affirm I am worthy, but feel like an imposter when opportunity knocks. You speak of alignment but vibrate in apology, in self-comparison, in doubt. And that's not your fault. It's your default. It's the subconscious code running. Underneath your spiritual practices, it's the frequency of old beliefs wrapped in new words. That mismatch is the interference. And in quantum terms, interference distorts entanglement. The field doesn't hear your words. And when that signal is chaotic part desire, part fear, it doesn't collapse anything new. It holds you in limbo. But here's the power in that realization. Once you see the mismatch, you can retune. Instantly. Not by thinking harder, but by softening deeper. Alignment doesn't require perfection. Congruence. When your thoughts, emotions, and body agree even, briefly the signal becomes clean. The entangled version of you starts to lock in, and reality adjusts. Not because you did more, but because you became clearer. The moment you stop trying to act like your future self and start breathing like them, walking like them, observing, like them, you shift timelines. It's not metaphorically, mechanically, because in the language of the field, coherence is currency. And once you stop broadcasting doubt, even for a moment, the field can finally deliver what's always been waiting. Resonance. If you've come this far, it means something in you already knows. The shift is not in the future. It begins now, in the breath you're taking, in the state you're choosing. But here's how to make it last. You need a loop. Frequency. Loop. Not a habit built on pressure, but a pattern built on presence. Try this. Every morning before you open your phone, ask yourself, what frequency am I choosing to live from today? Not what's on your to-do list. What's on your to-do? Vibrational broadcast? That question tunes your field before the world does. Midday, set a timer. Just one word. Return. When it rings, close your eyes, take one breath, and return to the signal of the you that feels whole. It takes less than 10 seconds, but it reestablishes coherence. Before bed, ask, where did I lose frequency today? Where did I come back? You're not judging. You're tracking. You're teaching your nervous system to remember where truth lives. These tiny rituals are not productivity hacks. They're vibrational anchors. And over time, they become your new baseline. Your body begins to trust stillness again. Your field starts repelling what drains you and attracting what matches you. And fatigue becomes a teacher, not a trap. Because the new you doesn't wait until burnout to reset. You shift before the leak. You tune before the noise. You align before the collapse. That's the real mastery, not control, but coherence. And if this message stirred something inside you, if you felt your field shift, even a little, then you already know. This isn't just a video. It's a signal, a remembrance, a return. So if you want to stay in this frequency, if you want to keep anchoring the shift, you're invited to subscribe to this channel. Not for content, but for coherence. Like this video if it resonated. Share it with someone whose soul is tired but can't explain why. And comment below. I choose to broadcast truth, not for the algorithm, for the field. Because what you type becomes declaration, and the field is always listening. Not broken. You were just broadcasting the wrong signal. But now, you remember, and the signal has changed. Welcome back.